All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here tonight on this very powerful, very important training. You know, this was inspired by several presentations that I have seen, whether they have been out on a live webinar or in a video. There's a lot of marketers who definitely need what we're going to teach tonight in terms of PowerPoint presentation power. We like to call it kills. And we're going to teach you tonight how you can do several things. Number one, we're going to teach you how to captivate your audience so that they remain on your presentations all the way until the end. We're going to also teach you how to move your audience to take the action you want them to take. And then finally, we're going to talk about how you can, make 5 times as many sales as you normally would make. You're going to find some knowledge and information that isn't really taught in our industry. We do everything but teach how to, what I would say, properly and correctly and effectively do PowerPoint. PowerPoint pretty much the rest of the way. But before I do that, I want to invite you to, first of all, take some notes. Make sure you take plenty of notes. Number two, turn off and prevent you from acquiring all the information. And certainly ask questions. And you can do that if you're on Facebook and you're connected to me. You can on Facebook, or you can hit me up in my groups and that type thing. So that's how you can ask questions if you like to ask questions. I'd like to also introduce everyone tonight to my special guest because number one, I really respect the quality of content that he creates in the marketplace. To be honest with you, I've called on him several times in terms of his video. It just had me scratching my head on how good they are. And I just thought it would be powerful to connect to him because not only is he a very good YouTube marketer, but he's also extraordinary presentations, and I'm sure that comes from his background. And so I want to introduce to some of you for the first time and to others again, my good friend and business partner, Mr. June Collier. June, say hey to everyone.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Larry, for having me. I am looking forward to tonight's webinar, and I think you're going to find it very, very valuable. A lot of jam-packed information, and as we go through this presentation and this information, make sure that you look at Larry's slides because they're awesome, and they actually reflect the information that we'll be discussing tonight.
Thank you, June. All right, so if you guys give me a second, I'm having a little bit of a technical challenge here on my computer, so I'm going to do a little backup. And we're going to get started. So I'm going to switch over to my PowerPoint slides here. June and I are going to kind of do a little tag team. So I want to encourage you guys to start as soon as I hit the slide here thing. Give me 1 second. June, verify once I get this up that you can actually see my screen. And then we'll be able to rock and roll. Yet. Okay, we're getting there. All right, June, can you see me?
Yes, sir. I sure can.
All right, perfect. All right, so let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. June Collier and I consider ourselves to be professionals, to be a professional. And we want to make sure that as professionals, we provide an image, a presentation, an opportunity to connect possible. And too many marketers take for granted their first impression when it comes to their content. And to be honest with you, very few people really get it in our business. That is internet marketing, network marketing, affiliate marketing. We don't really get it. We throw together we need to present something. But the truth is 99% of what we do does not pass the eye test of the average person that we business with. I will be honest with you, and June will support this. Some of the stuff that we see, we would never work with the person that is presenting any success they have been because their first impression to me is bad based upon me knowing how much effort it takes to put together a quality professional. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. You know, images is everything, and first impressions are everything. And so especially if you're creating products that you want to sell and you want to have people purchase. You want to make sure that you put forth your best foot and that you look as polished and professional as you can. Now, in the old days, you may have gotten away with having some cheesy looking design, but today there's no excuse for it. So make sure that you put your best foot forward when designing your presentations. Take a lot of time in thinking about your images and what you want to really portray. Larry's going to talk about creating or getting good quality images, but you want to make sure that you get those images because pictures say a thousand words, and we're going to cover that tonight. But make sure that you're using great quality images in your presentations, and that you give your presentation some thought before just going out there and doing a quick webinar.
Absolutely. One of the things that I discovered on my research, and I didn't make sense, that there's millions and millions and millions of presentations taking place all over this planet every single year. That's pretty deep when you think about how their business, their careers, their lives depend on presenting information to somebody else or several somebody else's. If it's that important for us to have, if it's that relevant to our future, is that relevant to our income and our careers, that our presentations are so central to us that we take time out to really know how to effectively communicate through presentations. It's a communication. And perfect the art of presenting and to being effective. Resonating with people is one of those intrinsic values that most people never really take time to learn. And I would recommend, there is a book by that exact title called Resonate that each one of you should really acquire, because it's a great work to read through while you learn to communicate through presentations. But with this number of presentations that go down every single year, the numbers don't lie. Most are not effective. Have sat through a presentation or watched a video presentation that within maybe 5 to 7 minutes you were trying to fast forward through the presentation, or you were clicking through your phone and watching. They created the PowerPoint has now lost you forever because they didn't know what it really took to get you to not only be there, but to stay there, stay engaged, want to connect. Importantly, take the action you want them to take, as it were, in this case, for most of us, buy a product or service or sign up for an opportunity. But 99% impact. That's deep. So think about the last presentation that you actually did. And whatever result you may have gotten out of that, it probably was not the result that you just didn't understand the psychology behind what it really means to present effectively. June, I'm going to give you an opportunity to maybe interject right here.
Yeah, I think when people are doing presentations, one of the things that you want to be careful of is that you're not reading the presentation. So, you don't put a bunch of words up on your presentation, bullet points, and read off of that, because your audience knows how to read. What you really want to liken this to is, when you have a small child that's 2, 3, 4 years old and you're getting ready to read them a bedtime story. When you think of that bedtime story that you read them, the child may not be able to read, but they're looking at the pictures. And that's what you really want to do. You want to be able to tell a story with your presentation, and you want your audience to be that child that's looking at the pictures, that has that creativity, because the pictures are going to invoke creativity in the child's mind. And so that's the same thing that you want to do with your audience.
Here's another thing you want to make sure of with your PowerPoint presentation. You want to make sure that even if you did, and someone was just simply clicking through your slides, the message would get communicated. When I say the message, I don't mean the words. I mean the message. And by the time we're done. But you want to captivate your audience, and words on a page do not do it. So most presentations are just sticking needles in your eyes. They're just boring. There's nothing to grab a person to cause them to want to stay connected. And I'm going to tell you something. probably over the next 2 or 3 slides, I'm going to say this, because this is always the case when you have the right type of presentation. When you have really good images, one of the reasons why people will stay is to see what. Now, that's deep when you think about it, because now they're there because they want to be there. They're there because the images are pulling them to want to say that, as you look at my images, you will probably get that sense that I wonder what the next image is going to be. But that's the point. That's part of the point. It's not the whole. And you'll get this as we go along. But the idea here is for you to be able to understand human psychology and how we take in information, how we process information moves us to take certain kinds of actions. Corporate America does not take this lightly. They don't just put words together. They don't just put images together, videos together. It takes a lot of planning, a lot of preparation, a lot of deliberation, a lot of editing, a lot of re-editing to hits you like it should. Everything that's done in corporate America when it comes to advertising has a purpose. If there's colors, if there's shapes, if there's sounds, they all serve a purpose to cause the human being on the other end of the presentation or content to take the action they want them to take. It's what I call ethical mind control. It's been going on in business for centuries. So that being said, if it's that serious with these multi-billion-dollar, why aren't you taking it that serious? You cannot afford to have someone bored on the other end of your presentation. You can't afford to have someone disinterested or wandering off mentally. You and I are in the business of making presentations. You think you're in the business of network marketing. You think you're in the business of affiliate marketing, of whatever you're in. That's not the business that you're in. You're in the business of presentations. If somebody walks into a coffee shop, that is a presentation. If somebody walks into a clothing store, it's all presentation. When somebody sets their eyes on you for the first time ever, and they're looking at you from the tip of your nose down to the tips of your shoes, conclude something based upon your presentation. So you and I are in the business of making presentations. And in this case, when we talk about PowerPoint, for one purpose and one purpose only, conversion. Not just information, not just education, not just motivation, conversion. And my stuff, sign up in my program. June?
You know, Larry, you covered a couple of things that I want to go and talk about. You talked about how companies really think this thing through. And I think the first place that I learned how to really do effective presentations was when I worked for a consulting firm called Deloitte. And there was not a presentation that we did within that company that did not have certain things. We had to use certain colors. We had to make sure the certain logos were done right, even down to the fonts. The fonts made the difference. And even if it was a presentation that I was going to do amongst my peers, they made sure that I did my presentation on the PowerPoint slides and the setups that they had, because you never knew where that presentation would end up. And so I take that to the style of branding. And, you know, you've got Steve Jobs here on the screen, and Steve Jobs has been known for doing great presentations. I mean, he is a master at doing presentations, and he's done it so well that that's his brand. People look forward to a new iPad coming out or a new Apple product coming out. They look forward to seeing him do that presentation because of his brand and what it stood for. So, you know, when you're doing your presentations and you're putting together PowerPoints, you need to think about your brand. How well do you want your brand to stick out in your audience's mind?
Wow, well said, my friend. Yep. You know, ironically, I saw a slide, or I saw a quote from Steve Jobs that said, if you know what you're talking, but his point being very simple to me is, as you said earlier, people look back and depend on PowerPoint, But it's not about the bullet point. It's about the story. That's what the PowerPoint is designed to help tell your story, ladies and gentlemen. That is the point right there. It's there to help you tell your story. One of my favorite TV shows of all time, and some of you know this show and some of you have it as your favorite, is Shark Tank. What is Shark Tank? Presentations. At the end of which, if your presentation and preparation is good enough, you could leave business owner or multi-billion-dollar business owner having cut a check and invested in you. They're not investing in your business. I mean, but they're also investing in you and how well you present your content. So if one of these 5 people, or all 5 of these people, you had an opportunity via presentation, PowerPoint, what would it look like? What would it sound like? How well would you prepare? And it shouldn't take this level to get you to bring your best. It really shouldn't. But just because I'm talking about it, I want you to really get it. Because someday, if you're good enough, you'll be able to step to people like this, cut you checks of significance to help fund your vision or your dream. So this is why you can't afford to take this stuff lightly. You can't afford to throw over the course of an hour and think that it's going to have the effect. And June will tell you, it takes a while. June, what did you tell me the other day in terms of like a 5-minute for presentation, how much time it takes? Can you go into that a little bit? Because I forget how you said it exactly.
Yeah, if I do a video and I do a slide presentation, maybe it's 5 minutes, but it takes me probably somewhere around an hour and a half to maybe 2 hours to put that thing together, simply because I'm looking for the right images, I'm looking for the right messages, I'm looking for the right thought process. And when you're doing that 5-minute presentation, you want to keep the user's eyeballs glued to the screen, and so you're constantly changing images, you're constantly moving things around on that slide presentation. So there's a lot that's going on, and there's a lot of pre-planning behind the scenes so that it really gravitates to that person's attention. And a 5-minute presentation you could put easily 90 minutes to 2 hours into that presentation.
Pick up on one part of that. So you said for about a 5-minute video, it may take you about 90 minutes to prepare. Is that what I heard you say?
Absolutely.
Okay. Just want to make sure we got that on record. So that's somebody that's taking it serious, because he understands, as he said, which stands out to me, I want to repeat this, that you said the company said they never knew where that would end up. And that's exactly should be your attitude. When and where. And you can't afford to half step. So tighten up the ship. And we're here to show you how to do that today, but we need you to grasp and understand the power of what you have your point and presenting in general. Money is at stake, ladies and gentlemen. Impact is at stake. Profits are at stake. Reputations are at stake. Brand quality is at stake. It all matters. Every time you present, you're going to either add to or take away from. You're going to multiply or you're trying to accomplish. So you think about what's most important to you right now when it comes to your business and how that is translated in your presentation. So we got to come correct, ladies and gentlemen. Come correct. And I can honestly say that when you decide to, you'll be able to draw people to you that you have been repelling and just didn't know it. You can't afford to have a whole bunch of white space and a whole bunch of text and all of that kind of stuff. It just does not. I want you to think about Hollywood for a second. You think about a movie, and I'm going to get into this in a minute, but I want you to think about a movie. And once you think about what movie and what do you define as a bad movie? And it's very simple. It's in what you see. Very simply, it's in what you see. It's how effective the message of the playwright or the not the playwright. What am I? What I just lost. What playwright? Listen to me. You know what I'm saying? The person that wrote the movie script, right? But you guys get where I'm coming from. If you're sitting there watching a movie, it has to have a certain pace. It has to have a certain tempo. It has to have certain imagery, certain music that pull it along, certain scripts. Everything about that movie has to keep you there. Okay, so we're going to move now into some things that you can incorporate to help move along the presentation in the way that you would like it to. All right, so let's talk about the first thing is bullet points. I'm going to let June loose on this one. But never ever use, probably have used them, and that's probably all you've ever seen. You go, Larry, that's all I've ever seen, that's all I know. I understand that, but what I'm trying to do is take you from amateur to pros. The pros don't use bullet points. And here's why. Do you live your life in bullet points? Or do you live your life in pictures and stories? I want you to stop for a minute and process information. When you hear the word rabbit, your mind does not run to R-A-B-B-I-T. Your mind runs to an actual rabbit. You think about somebody saying, I'm angry, you don't think of the word, you don't think of the letters A-N-G-R-Y. You actually get a picture in your mind of what angry is. Information. And if that's how we process information as human beings, you must move with the current, not against the current. Okay, images create an environment of emotions. That's what they do if you do it correctly. If you're intentional about it, they create, and those emotions cause you to take a certain action. So if that's the case, then you need to be able to influence my emotions, behavior by way of what I see. And I'm not talking about the words. June?
So Larry, this is very important because a lot of people on the call have done lots of presentations, and even the PowerPoint presentations come with bullet points. And so one of the things that I wanted to just kind of describe to people is how to set yourself apart from an amateur and being a professional. So when you are scripting out your message, that's where you want to use your bullet points. When you're in the brainstorming process and you're putting your presentation together, you're going to start off doing bullet points. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to show your bullet point thought process. You just want that for yourself so that you know what the order of your presentation will be. And then the next step is to take those bullet points, and this is where the work comes in. Now you've got to go out and find an image that says all of the things that you want to describe in your bullet points. That's what's going to separate you from the rest of the crowd. It's that ability to now take that bullet point or those bullet points and find an image that accurately reflects what you want to describe in your story. So you're going to tell that story, and you want to make sure that you want to highlight these 3 things for this particular slide, but you have an image that tells the story, and then you hit the bullet points in your storytelling. I hope that helps.
Absolutely. It's like getting half dressed. It's all say half dressed. The bullet points, like you described it, is what I do to prepare to get dressed. And so you're not going to obviously see me prepare to get dressed. When you see me, I'm dressed. So the bullet points is in preparation, but it's not what we should see. And that's what you said. I won't drill that too hard. But this is why most fact that they want, because nobody has helped them understand the psychology behind what this is really all about. This is an aid to help you facilitate a story. That's live in images and stories. Think about the last time you watched somebody do a presentation and some of the things that they said. What parts grabbed you? I always notice on the inside, and then they'll go, I remember one time, and as soon as they do that, I know they're about to go into a story, and my whole attention shifts just in that moment, because the human mind and embrace a story before it embrace facts and figures and graphs and all that other stuff. That stuff has its place, but not in your presentation as it relates to your story. Okay?
Hey, Larry, can I?
That's very important to get. Absolutely. Go ahead, bro.
So, one of the things, I'm a recruiter and I see tons of resumes all the time. And when I talk to individuals about interviewing, here's what I tell them. I say your resume is typically written in a bullet point format, and that's so that the recruiter or the hiring manager can look and skim through your resume pretty quickly, and they can use those bullet points to do that. But when you're interviewing, here's how I tell people to do a great interview. Here's where the difference is with a great interview. I said for every bullet point that you have on your resume, you better have a story to go along with that bullet point. So that bullet point there should be a story that you can tell with each one of the bullet points that's on your resume. And what we're saying is the same here with the presentation.
Good stuff, brother. Great stuff. Now, the second tip. What does the word captivated mean? I want you guys to think about captivated. Captivated. You might need to look this word up. This is what captivated is. That's what we've all been to a point. And you know, I've gotten so enthralled in a TV show or something, I hear what's going on around me. My wife, Larry, Larry, and I find the four Larrys, I'll finally go, huh? She said, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm watching whatever. What are they doing to me that has me like that? My kids do it too. That's a power that we, and you want to be able to some degree grab people's attention and keep them looking at what you have. And the only way they're going to be able to do that is to attach themselves to what's coming next. I can't wait to see what's coming next. I can't wait to see what's coming next. And that's what you want to be able to do. I actually sat and watched some PowerPoint presentations on SlideShare through, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Some of those were extremely captivating, and it wasn't the text; it was the pictures. And I'm like, wow, where did they get that image from? That's amazing. Because I'm saying a few words that they put on the screen. And by the way, you notice that my page or my slides are not wordy. I have a few words that tie to the facilitating the delivery of the rest of the content. But I want you to think about the last time you were captivated by something on the street or by something you watched on YouTube or Facebook feed. I could be just scrolling, and I'll see an image, and I'll stop right on the spot because that image got my attention. I'll scroll past all the words, video or image, words, image. I'm stopping at every image, at least for a split second. That's powerful. You there, bro?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I think
All
the
right.
key here is the skill is in finding images that will shock people, that will evoke some type of emotion out of people. And that's where the real skill is. You know, you could use images, but you could select the wrong images. And that's what takes so long, is making sure that you find that right image to go with that message that's going to keep that person really glued to your presentation.
Absolutely. All right, now let's get into this one. This one is, to me, I think for most people, they really don't understand the power of this. And when I say, emotions, we've heard this in sales. People make decisions based on emotions and back them with logic. So here's a question: have you ever looked at an image and cried? Have you ever looked at a video and laughed? Have you ever looked at an image and laughed? Have you ever looked at an image and got inspired? Have you ever looked at a moment? If the answer to any of that is yes, this is why you must understand the emotional side of your presentation. Because beings, and we must be moved with emotion first. So if you want to be humorous, be humorous. I've done presentations and it was fun. All the images I can get. They were the accuracy of their relevance was there. So it wasn't like I was being funny just to be being funny because I wanted that emotion to rise up. When I'm telling my story about where I come from, and I want you to feel in like a man, he was broke like me, and I want you to feel that. I want us to resonate and connect together as brothers, as me as your brother, in terms of relatable stories. We have that what's the word? Affinity. But it's in emotions that we can connect. We may not be able to connect in race and nationality and career and all that, but we're human beings first and foremost, and we can connect emotionally. I can make that connection with you. Oh man, I can get you to stop in an image and just think about it. I actually picked up a book at the library, and I do this all the time. I'll go look at, like, I'll have their collection of some of their award-winning images, and just flipping through these full-color images will blow your mind. That's how powerful the imaging is, people. And you want to move your people with your images. That's why, as June said, it takes time. You got to be thoughtful. You got to. Does I see an image, does it move me? And I have been moved. I've been moved by some images to the point where I unfriended some people. It was so graphic, and I don't mean like nothing like pornography. Just somebody captured an image that just was in my soul in a way I didn't want. And I know you all know what I'm talking about. Okay, so life is equally as true when it comes to PowerPoint. June?
Larry, one of the things that happens to me oftentimes is, like you said, I'm on the internet and I come across an image. And for me, I keep a folder of images. When I see an image that I'm like, I don't have use for it right now, but it has evoked so much emotion in me that I have to capture that image. I don't know how I'm going to use it later in life, but I have to capture that image because it meant so much to me. So I'm always looking at images, and I'm always thinking about how can I use an image that has really evoked a strong emotion out of me.
Absolutely. All right. So telling stories, and I've been kind of talking. You will never ever be as effective if you'll never be as effective as a story can be in any other way of communicating your message. Telling us the whole idea behind how movies really work. They tell a story. When I train and coach my students, on business, I was just talking to one of my coaching clients about creating some info products, and I said, let me just tell you how easy this is. Just simply tell your story. Just be relatable. Talk about your struggle. Talk about the fact that you've been through a company jumper, but because you just been struggling. Because there's a lot of people that can relate to that. Talk about what it took for you to finally get to the point where you had a breakthrough. So although some people may not get it, if you go and take it, I remember listening. I wish I could have pulled the name of the company because I would have brought it tonight. But telling me the story of this, how this particular wine was made. Now this is a high-end wine, but they sold their wine on the story. The vineyard was on the man that founded it. I mean, they take you back to 1860 with a picture of him with his family, and they were just moving from the old country to wherever they came from, and then they decided to do all this. This company sells high-end wine on that story. That's so the story. And another company, another example in cars. You look at Rolls-Royce. Rolls ad on television. You don't. But when you do see a Rolls-Royce ad in Upscales magazine, they're telling a story. So stories are the number one thing that you're going to be able to communicate your message in, because it's what people walk away and remember. Because even within the story, it can create emotion, smiles and laughter, tears where appropriate. I got family members that won't read books that don't have pictures. Now I used to think, but when you really think about it, that is how human nature is. When I have seen books that have pictures in them, what do? I'll grab the book and flip to the middle where the pictures are first.
Hmm.
And I realized that right in the middle of the book is where all the pictures started, and that's what I did. I flipped to the middle, and I read the pictures, and then I read the captions. I let my eyes see what the picture was communicating to me, and then I read the caption that went with it. Caption just was like the icing, but I like the image. I like the through the air, and just thinking about how that really happened when he did it. Or I think about Rosa Parks when they had pictures of her sitting in the bus, what being that time, and her doing that, or whatever image it might have been. Look at this very image I'm using now. The first African American president of the United States. Talking politically speaking, this has nothing. It doesn't matter what your political beliefs are. It's historic. It's something that'll never be done again. Captured in video or captured in pictures. But just his face on a picture inspires a nation of people. June?
Man, when people talk about painting a picture for your viewer, painting a picture for your viewer is really getting your viewer to really start even thinking about the story inside of their head. And you talked about the wine, and I find that a lot of expensive items always have some sort of history behind it. And I know that you watch the antique show, where they bring in antiques and they get an estimate of what that antique is worth. And what makes the show is the individual telling the story about how they acquired or had access to that particular piece of item that is now worth, $100,000, and they found it in the back room somewhere, or they got it from their great great grandfather, or whatever the story might be. And so stories are very, very powerful, and sometimes a picture captures more than a video, because a picture captures a moment in time, and it's just that snapshot in time. So sometimes a picture is more powerful than just the video itself.
Absolutely. That is so true. Now, one of the things that has helped me to become credible in the marketplace is my propensity to teach first. One of my coaching clients I recently had a coaching session with, and I was needed to alter his presentations to include first and foremost education and teaching, because the way we are as people, we're a bit cynical, and for the most part, most people take the angle of trying to convince us that we need to buy from them. But I'm going to be honest with you. I will tell you that you will separate yourself so and help teach and train people. Give them a reason to want to do business with you beyond the fact that you're trying to compare yourself to somebody else's colors, somebody else's whatever. Very few people take time out to teach. Let me just say what I'm gonna give you a sentence. I'm gonna teach you how to teach right now. I'm gonna give you a sentence. The sentence has a purpose. I'm gonna give you a sentence, and then I'm gonna give you an example, and then I'm gonna. Okay? And here's the sentence. This is a teaching sentence. Never create a dead end for your message or your money. I want you to write that down. Never for your message or your money. What does that mean? That means if you are talking on video, if you have written a book, and you have a message, do not create a dead end for the message. In other words, don't just say, thank you for listening, I will see you on the next video, or you have to give them a call to action to continue on. Never, ever, never put a dead end on your message. Send me somewhere, because you got to tell me to do it. Never create a dead end for your money. What does that mean? For those of you that sell products, every product you within it an opportunity for them to buy something else. Don't ever create a dead end for your money. You get that? So just the fact that I said that, I gave you a sentence, I broke down what it meant, and then I'm now showing you examples of what I mean has taught you something. So going away from this presentation today, if nothing else, when you go at your article, when you go do whatever you do, you're going to make sure that you go, Larry said don't put a dead end on my message. So that means I need to say, go to my YouTube channel and come to my blog and download my free item, or come to my Facebook wall and like my blah, 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 or come to my conference call. You're going to remember that. And when I say don't create a dead end in your money, you're going to, you see, so now I have anchored myself as having value, and no money has been talked about. Nothing. We haven't discussed anything at all about making any money or buying anything. Said that. That creates a sense of credibility automatically. It's like another example would be like the law of reciprocity, in the sense that door, and there's two doors. Like, in restaurants you have the outer door, then you got the inner door. And I'm walking ahead of somebody, and I grab the door and I swing it open and step back and let them in. And that next door that they're going to come up to, they're not going to stand there and wait for me to come get that one too. It's natural for them to want to grab that door and return the favor. You want to create that kind of feel. You want people to feel obligated to give you something in return for the value that you gave them. But you got to be willing to teach them something first to create that feeling. So now all of a sudden, without realizing it, you have created a unconscious need to balance the checkbook with you. So how do they do that? Well, they got to go download something. They got to go spend some money on something. They got to show up to something. They're going to do it because you made them feel like they're better. June, I'm going to let you jump in here, but I want you to get this, ladies and gentlemen. I have made way more impact, way more money, and way more influence long term by and June, and I'll just be honest with you. Before me and June jumped on here tonight, I said, June, let's make some money tonight. But then I followed up and said, what, June? What did I say after that? Which is more to the point.
We got to educate. Let's we have to educate the people that we're going to be teaching tonight. Yeah.
Right. And I said, make meaning.
Yeah, you did. Let's make some meaning.
Yeah. I said, let's make some meaning. And what that really means is, no matter what you guys decide to do tonight, at the end of tonight's training, we want to make sure that you decide to go off and be better. That's the most important thing. Our whole training tonight is teaching you. That's it. But it establishes you as a trusted authority. You want to add to that?
Yeah, I know a lot of the people that may be on this call, they may be internet marketers, there may be network marketers, and this slide is very, very important, because a lot of people that are out on the web, they like to get on and do videos or do webinars, and what they're doing is they're motivating, or they're what I call glorified hype men, and hype only lasts for a moment. But what I've found is that if you give value first, people will feel obligated to want to buy something from you if you give them value first. And they'll even want to join your team because they're learning from you. And I've experienced this in my network marketing business, where I've had people come to me and they say, you give me more value than the top earners in the company. They talk to me and they motivate me, but you've actually taught me something. You actually gave me something of value that I could actually use. And if I had to do it all over again, I would want to be in your team or on your organization. And I've even recruited people in my business simply because I gave so much value. They decided that if I was going to join that business, I want to join June because of all the value that he's given me. So if he's given this type of value that I see right here, imagine what kind of value he's giving to his team. So if you establish yourself as a trusted authority, and that's by educating people, you can go far in either selling products or recruiting people into your organization.
Yes, sir. All right. Number 6, demonstrate. I kind of, this is an interesting demonstrate. I don't want you to think that, everything is not demonstratable in a demoing it, but you want to be able to communicate how it makes my life easier, simpler, smoother, that kind of stuff. When you look for technology, like I remember seeing an image of the iPod when it first came out, or even one of these thin, really thin laptops. They're talking about it is, and even in the commercials, they do what they can to communicate how it improves your life. So don't just worry about communicating how good you are, but you got to prove to me how it makes my life better. Can you create ease for me? Can you communicate to me that I'm going to be better? I remember training that June did. I can't remember what it was, but I was like, man, I feel it automatically captivated me to want to go watch another video. Because even but again, it's based upon presentation, just converted to video. But just the flow and how the value was communicated in the training, I wish it's really what started our relationship, because I saw a video he had and I reached out to him about it. Because it was that good. So we want to make life, because again, the whole idea behind the presentation is to convert them. So how are you going to communicate by me watching your presentation about your product, service, or opportunity that my life is? Don't just talk to me. Nobody cares really about how long the company's been in existence. Nobody cares how many times the company owner has owned a multi-billion-dollar company and done it again. Nobody cares how many to be in the organization. Nobody cares. That doesn't really translate to ease in my life. It doesn't. And when people start asking you those questions, it's because you didn't make an emotional connection. You didn't tell a proper story. You didn't communicate anything that captivated me. You didn't show me how I made my life easier. So to make this a try to intelligent conversation, how many, how many, how much cholesterol is in this product, or are these tennis shoes made of plastic or leather? We don't really make decisions based on that. But because my presentation wasn't impactful enough in the way it should be, then this is what happens. Presentation, that my life is better and easier than it was before I saw the presentation. Can you communicate that? June?
And that's where pre-planning goes into effect. I try to keep my videos within 5 minutes. And Larry, you've watched my videos, and oftentimes you're like, man, that video was straight to the point. It said what needed to be said without any fluff. And again, I think a lot of people will get on and they will do presentations or they'll do videos and they won't pre-prepare. They won't plan that video out. You see, we've got to make sure that we respect people's time and that we actually give them what they need in as short a period of time as possible, because we know people have short attention spans. And so, that's just so vitally important in doing presentations like these.
Yes, preparation. I want you to imagine for one moment, as it relates to prep, that you had a medical emergency come up. God forbid that'll ever happen. But let's say you had a medical emergency come up and you were rushed to the emergency room. And in walks the doctor, who is supposed to be the one to help treat you, but he walks in with a book in his hand and it's open. And you're ask the doctor, what is that? And the doctor responds, it's a textbook that shows me all of the potential injuries and illnesses that a person could have, and I'm trying to flip through it to see which one you have. Now I want you to think for a moment how crazy of a scene that would be. And if you had the physical ability, you'd be trying to get up out of there. Why? Because you would instantaneously know, not prepared to treat you. He did not take the necessary time, effort, energy, hours, internship, apprenticeship, whatever you call it. He needed to be in that emergency room. Obviously, that's not a real scenario. Nobody will let a doctor in there like that. But my point is, that's how some of you guys act. You want the income of a doctor, but you will not prepare like one, down to your PowerPoint presentation. So if June says it takes him 90 minutes to do a 5-minute video, hour that we've been together, it took me an hour to put this presentation together, you're out of your mind. Because I knew that I needed to make it to communicate value. I knew that I needed to be able to help you understand the importance of this information. And you can't just throw this thing together. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes thought. But the planning process is your secret weapon. My wife was a Marine, and they had this slogan: prior planning prevents a poor performance. But here, prior planning produces peak performance. That's what I want you to really get. If you prepare, it can't be touched. But you prepare not only the slides themselves, but you also prepare your message. When I remember asking June, he said, yeah. I said, man, it was smooth. Because as he said, when you write it out and take the time, you don't say anything you don't need to say. You say everything you have to say. And you get it and concise. That's how the pros do it. June?
I don't even have anything to add to that, Larry. Like I said, it's all in the preparation. Success is in the preparation of your presentation.
So here's basically 5 basics for your presentation. First of all, use your head. Sit down and think creatively about what it is that you would like to create and accomplish in your presentation. You can cheat. How do you cheat? Go look at some presentations. Go to SlideShare and type in just whatever. You can type in PowerPoint presentations on SlideShare. There's people that get paid to do PowerPoint presentations. Get paid a lot of money. Can you imagine making 6 figures just to put together presentations? There's people that do it. Go look at somebody else's presentation and just glean concepts, glean images, glean the way they laid it out. But that'll help you. That'll help you. Because presentations and those that captivate you are the ones that you want to go after in terms of the flow. So take a moment and just think through what it is you want to think through. Then you an outline with bullet points. Figure out how this thing is going to lay out. And within your outline, you create the structure for your story. What story am I going to tell? A motivational story, inspirational story, educational story. What am I going to do? But I got to tell a story. I can't just talk. I can't just talk about money. I can't just talk about talk about somebody or something that brings this thing to life. And then you start working on the design, and then you create it. I would, now, but it's not going to scare the best of you. For every hour that you present, you probably need about 30 hours of preparation time as it relates to these 5 things you're seeing right here. And then there's practicing and rehearsing what it is you're going to produce before you actually do it. I have a friend of mine that's a professional speaker, and his whole speaking life is he disappears for a couple days just so he can get his presentation together. Something that he's going to stand up and deliver pretty much from the top of his head, but he has to be able to deliver it with looking back at what he did. It has to be in him. And so this is the structure and plan and process that you can and should use on your process. June, is there anything in here that you do differently, or that I don't have, that maybe you can interject, or maybe you can want to drill into some of these points at all?
No, I go through that exact strategy there, and sometimes what people have to understand is that you need to take that time to do the brainstorming. And the brainstorming is brainstorming doesn't have to be sitting in front of your computer. Sometimes you could be brainstorming while you are just relaxing, and usually for me, that's where the ideas will come from. I'm relaxing and I'm brainstorming an idea, and then I just start jotting down some notes, and that's where your outline sort of comes together. And your outline says, I want to start here, and then I want to end here. And so you fill in everything that's in between. That's where that structure comes in. You start filling in what's in between and start finding your pictures. That's where the storyboarding comes together. I want this picture to go with this group of thoughts or this group of messaging. And then once you have that together, now you're ready to actually put the PowerPoint presentation together. So, once you've got all the other four things done, the PowerPoint design and putting it together is relatively fast. But the piece that takes the time is the brainstorming all the way down to the storyboarding.
Stuff, brother. So let's do a quick recap. So number one, bullet points. We did our best to try to sell you on never doing a bullet point again in context of your presentation. Bullet points have a place, but not in your finished presentation. Okay? Don't get lazy. Keep your audience captivated. Lock them in. Get them to just be you're like ethically hypnotized. Based upon what your community happen to their feelings. Get them feeling something. Tell a story, but you can get me feeling something in your story. Train me. Make me better than I was before I came to your presentation. Show me how my life is now better, easier, because of you, because of your part. Endear me to you on some level. This is the game that the pros play. We mentioned Steve Jobs, and there's many others that we could present to you that have done for a living, just like you're doing presentations for a living. But the stakes are so high. They're so high, they're too high for you to take this stuff lightly. So from this point to not just overlook the importance of preparing yourself for the level of success that your presentation can bring you. Your presentation can be, it really can be. It can be the star player on the team if you let it. But you got to prepare correctly for your star player to perform at his highest level to bring you to you. Now that being said, June and I would like to offer you an opportunity to go to the next level. So there's a lot of concepts and a lot of things that we talked about in our training. I've been mentioning June's video skills. Most of you, if not all of you, have either put YouTube videos together or have looked at YouTube videos that you in your own process. And June is the guy that I go to for questions. I mean, he and I had a good laugh about this at one time, because I've been out here marketing for years, and he's doing videos better than me. But I'm okay with that because I'm not the best at everything that there is. I'm humble enough to know when it's time for me to go find somebody that's better than me at something. And I'm talking about videos that I'm not in front of the camera. And most of you need to learn how to do videos where you're not in front of the camera. As a matter of fact, June, you mentioned that to me one time. You said sometimes people, when they should be and when they should be in front of the camera. And I think for the most part, everybody needs to at least understand the power of video marketing and video presentations to communicate their message. So share some thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, when you're doing video, there is a time when you want to be in front of the camera. I mean, when you want to build your brand from a standpoint of you want people to know who you are, you want them to feel you emotionally, then you may want to be in front of the camera. But when you're becoming a expert and you're teaching and you're training, that's not the time for you to be in front of the camera. That's the time for you to focus on the material that you're teaching and training on. And so when you're doing a presentation, you want your audience to be focused in on what you're teaching them and not focus in on you. And I think when we do training like this and PowerPoint training, it's very easy to assemble. It's easy to put into a video format. It's easy to keep concise. It's for me, it's probably better than I'm better at doing video presentations where I'm not in front of the camera than I am when I'm in front of the camera, because I tend to ad-lib a lot when I'm in front of the camera.
Well, we all do, and if we're not looking, giving us the words to say, you're going to be forced to ad-lib. And so when you have the precision of a PowerPoint presentation combined with the the power of video, you got to imagine doing. So there's two things that I want to offer you tonight as it relates to getting you to your next level. The first thing I want to offer you tonight is an opportunity to allow us to teach you prepare for PowerPoint. And we've been talking about how it takes time and images and all of that. So what I'd like to offer you is some formal training on how I put my PowerPoint, my images from, where I get my concepts from, even where I get my fonts. Some of the fonts that you use on your standard PowerPoint don't make the impact. It is that important. The literal font type that you use makes an impact. And there are some font types that make you look like a clown. But if you don't know what you're doing, yeah, I like that font, but it's not about what you like. It's about what makes an impact to the eye of the person that's watching what you're doing. So we want to teach you how to get you some upgraded fonts for that from, where you can get your images from. Talk about little things like, the color scheme. How does the human eye see color? Colors creating. Some of you know, like, food colors are like yellow and red. You put those together. Well, if I'm not trying to make you hungry, I'm not going to use those combinations. But if I'm trying to evoke a certain in you, I'm going to use certain color schemes to accomplish that. There's also the power of resonating. How do you resonate in your presentation in a way that gets people to like you, to trust action with you? These are the intrinsic values of PowerPoint, that we'd like to help you understand. And on top of that, be able to help you use that to presentation. Now, let me tell you the significant difference between what you probably have seen or have done than what June is doing. June done some, and I'm going to let him talk more about this, but it captivated some research on YouTube marketing and companies that hire firms to get a presence on YouTube to promote their products and services. And there's a lot that goes. News is you and I can do it and do it at the level that we are and make the impact within the communities that we want to make the impact when we understand how to do it. When you move from concept to concept, how some stuff zooms in, how some stuff zooms out, how some stuff fades in and fades out. June is a master at that kind of stuff. Now, why that is important, why you cannot afford to just have, even though it's a presentation, just flip to a slide and flip to a slide and flip to a slide. There's something else when it comes to video that's so communicate a greater message to your audience. And if you're going to be on YouTube, we want to help you maximize that time. So, June, if you could jump into a little bit of what you were sharing with me about what you studied about YouTube marketing, anything that you've been able to do that can help people get to their next level with YouTube marketing.
Yeah, once you got a beautiful presentation like the one that you put together today, Larry, YouTube is the best kept secret. And here's what I mean. You are allowed to create your own television network. Now, I want you to think about that for a moment. There's a lot of television networks out there. You've got the Food Channel. You've got these game show networks. You've got all different types of networks that you watch on regular cable television. Well, YouTube gives you that same ability to create your own show. And when we talk about creating your own show, there are over 1 billion viewers each and every month who are searching for your channel. They're searching for information. And so, you have to ask yourself the question, how much would it cost you to get on a television network? Because that's exactly what YouTube is. YouTube should be, in my opinion, charging people for the ability to upload their videos. Yet they make it available to us for free. And what I see most marketers do is they're uploading junk. And here's what I mean. They're uploading videos just to be uploading videos. They don't think about optimizing their videos. They don't think about the quality of their videos. They don't think about the annotations. They don't think about linking outside of their video to their sales page or to a product that they can purchase. I mean, there's a lot of lost opportunity with videos. And I think people are not taking advantage of YouTube simply because it's free. Because they think, it's just free. But if you use YouTube in the appropriate manner, there's a lot of people who are making millions of dollars using YouTube, but they use it and they think about it just like a television show. So We know that every Thursday night people love to tune in to Scandal. Well, what would happen if this week Scandal came on Thursday, and then next week it came on Wednesday, and the week after that it came on Saturday, and it didn't have the same intro as it had the last time, and it would just be a horrible show, and it wouldn't work. So that's what a lot of people are doing with YouTube. And so you've got to have a good quality brand when you create your YouTube channel. Okay, drive traffic directly to the pages that you want to drive them to. YouTube has over 1 billion viewers each and every month. That's a lot of eyeballs that's looking for your information. And so if you create a great PowerPoint slide, a great presentation, and then you record that, that is a television segment that will last forever. And the last thing that I will say, I'm a network marketer. And of course, we always talk about residual income. We want to do something one time and get paid for it over and over and over again. Well, with YouTube, I create what's known as residual marketing. That means that I create a marketing message one time, and that marketing message works for me over and over and over and over again. I've got people that are watching my videos that I did 2 years ago, and they're contacting me. The more residual marketing pieces that you can create, the more products that you can sell, the more people that you can place into your business. So I'll leave it at that, Larry.
One thing I want to also interject is a small thing but a big thing, and that is on YouTube, the thumbnail that is seen when you come on to YouTube and you see those videos all to the right, all lined up, that little image that's there, you can control that. And some of you take for granted that right there gets you people clicking on your video just because it's interesting. Because again, what are we talking about? Imagery. And if you can create quality imagery, higher results. Okay, so there's me teaching you with June's help how to get to the next level in PowerPoint, but we also want to help incorporate YouTube marketing into your process, because all of you need to have the power of outsales everything else by 600%. Okay, so you think about whatever else you're doing right now. If you create a video for it, you have this potential than you would in any other form of marketing. That's what videos do. Some of the highest paid people in the world are that because they're seen on camera. Sports alone, to give you an idea, a basketball player with pretty much the same talent as a football player is going to get paid more because you can see his face. On this standard, you cannot leave YouTube it's just too big, it's just too influential, and it's just too relevant to your business. And it doesn't matter what business you're in. You need to be able. Don't want you to continue to use YouTube like a chump. We want you to be able to use YouTube like a champ, a pro. And if you go search June out and look at his videos, you see where I'm coming from. But the cool thing is you don't have to go search him out all like that. We're going to actually take you by the hand, take you to YouTube, and show you how to do this thing correctly. And also show you that you can have the power of the transitional stuff that June is talking about, because it does matter. It all matters. That's why these movie houses take it serious. So I call it basically advanced YouTube training with the PowerPoint stuff, the killer PowerPoint presentation that we're going to get into. So this is a $197 course over the course of 4 weeks. It's a $100 discount, and you can obtain it for $97. And it also includes 3 tickets to my live event, which is called the Print Money Factory 2-day live event here in Tampa, Florida, in January. So if you would like to participate not only in my event but also get this training, you can go to the link that you see on the screen right now, LarryBeacham.com/, and that'll take you to PayPal where you can actually obtain this course. Now, what I'd like you to do once you do that is send me an email to LarryBeacham@yahoo.com. And sometimes, the PayPal accounts that you guys use are not the same as your email accounts, because I'm going to be sending you the details to where you come for the training. If you just email me directly, LarryBeacham@yahoo.com, once you make your purchase, or you can just forward your receipt to me, and that way I'll know that's the email to send it to you. I'm also going to throw in tonight a bonus for you, dominance course that I actually sell that is $97 all by itself. It's 7 video modules that take you from A to Z on everything you need to know about. It includes over 20 marketing strategies that you can use not just for affiliate marketing, but for any marketing. So I got some stuff that people have never heard before, and I got some stuff that people have heard and just didn't throw in tonight if you decided to obtain our training. So again, that's the advanced PowerPoint presentation training, teaching you about how to find your images, how to get your fonts, storyboard, how to get your concepts together, and then moving into taking even that and converting it into a high converting, powerful, professional YouTube video, which leads you into having your own. And we're trying to stack the odds in your favor of success on that. And again, I'm throwing in the affiliate marketing dominance course on top of all of that. Normally it's going to be $197, but we're going to give you a $100 discount if you take advantage of it tonight. So just go to LarryBeacham.com/YouTube Pro and obtain your copy of the training today. And again, once you make email and let you know where you can start showing up to the training. If you are not able to make it to the live training, that's all right. As you probably already guessed, we're going to record the trainings and make them available to you at any time. It's not required that you show up to the live training. Each module that's completed, you'll be notified that it's ready for you, and you'll be able to access it at that time. Okay, modules that include both the PowerPoint training and the YouTube training. But if you buy tonight, you'll instantaneously get the 3 tickets to my live event, and you'll also get the affiliate marketing dominance training. 3 tickets to my live event. The first ticket is for you to be able to attend yourself, and the back 2 tickets are for you to be able to either give away or sell and keep the money. The of $1,000, but I would recommend that you sell them for about $97 because that's what I do. Now, what will happen is if you sell a ticket for $97, I don't. Okay, you sell 2 tickets. Well, not only did you recoup the cost of what you're now getting into the event for free, and if you sell the second one, you can give them all away. It's up to you. But I'm giving you an opportunity to find. I'm teaching you how you can leverage the whole expense of this thing by just saying yes to what we have to offer. We're giving away and getting prepared to come to my live event, where for 2 days with my business mentor, Mr. Myron Golden, best-selling author, millionaire trainer Myron Golden, we're going to be to how to literally print money. And most of you are familiar with my print money formula course, but we're going to do something on another big level here locally in Tampa. I'm teaching you how to take that whole. That being said, that's what our offer is tonight. We want to encourage you to take advantage of it immediately. June, I'm going to give you an opportunity to maybe share some final thoughts as we wrap up tonight's call. And before I do that, all about what we shared tonight, or you would like a copy of tonight's recording, I'll be happy to give you a copy of tonight's recording, and you can simply email me or Facebook me any questions you have on what you let others in social media know what you got out of tonight's training and encourage them to check out this training once we make it live. So, June, is there any final thoughts you want to share before we wrap up tonight?
I just think, Larry, it's an amazing price that you've given for the training that they're going to be receiving. For those of you that are watching this presentation, one of the things that I just want you to know is that if you are a marketer, if you are a network marketer, an affiliate marketer, these are things that you need to know. You're going to need to know how to create captivating presentations, and you're going to need to know how to take those presentations, record them so that you can create residual marketing tools that pay you over and over and over again. So for the price of this course, it is a no-brainer. So I encourage you guys to go out, get the course. You've seen Larry teach before, you've seen his training before, and he always comes out on top with some great information, and this is also going to be another one of those great courses.
Excellent. Well, June Collier, thank you so much for connecting with us tonight, being a guest tonight. And can you let everybody know how they can reach out and connect to you, man, beyond just this tonight's training call?
You can reach me at junecollier.com, www.junecollier.com. You can find me on Facebook at June Collier, facebook.com/June Collier. And on YouTube, I am at youtube.com/June Collier, the number 3.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much, June. Awesome to have you here. And for all of you watching this training, I hope that we have delivered some value that you can take now and go and apply to whatever business that you're in. And we certainly look forward to those of you that decide training on PowerPoint, as well as the advanced YouTube training that nobody else in the marketplace really is teaching what June is teaching. Everybody else is teaching traffic to YouTube, but very few people are teaching that your traffic needs to see for them to respect you and take the action you want them to take. That's the difference between what we're doing and what's in the marketplace already. So we look forward to connecting to you soon. With that being in everything I do, I want everybody to go forth in victory. This training is a wrap. Have a phenomenal night. And June Collier, thanks again, my friend. Take care
Thanks,
now.
sir.
All right.